Every summer, the heat wins. Your spinach bolts. Your lettuce turns bitter. By July, your garden looks like a crime scene, and you're back at the store buying plants that'll do the exact same thing next year. But here's what nobody's telling you. There are 20 vegetables that laugh at scorching heat. Plants like moringa, chaya, and katuk that you plant once and harvest from for years. No replanting, no starting over, no watching your work wilt when summer gets brutal. This video will change how you garden permanently. If you're new here, hit subscribe. These are the insights serious gardeners wish they'd found years ago. One no katuk sweet leaf bush. Let's start with one almost nobody in Western gardening talks about, yet it might be the most productive leafy green you'll ever grow. Sauropus androgynous, write that down. Native to Southeast Asia, the katuk produces protein-rich leaves in shade and blazing heat alike. While most greens surrender to summer sun, katuk leans in, pushing fresh shoots week after week, regrowing from the same roots year after year. USDA zones 9 to 12 for outdoor perennial growth. Zones 7 to 8 as seasonal perennials with mulching or containers brought indoors. The leaves taste mildly sweet like fresh peas, loaded with protein, calcium, iron, and vitamins A and C. Eat them raw, stir-fried, blended, or straight off the plant. A single mature bush yields continuously for years. Prune hard when tall, it returns bushier. Water to establish, then let it handle heat and moderate drought quietly, consistently, abundantly. 2. Malabar spinach. For gardeners frustrated watching spinach bolt when temperatures climb, Bacella alba is your answer, not true spinach. Yeah, but it fills the same role better in heat. This vine climbs aggressively. Give it a trellis, fence, or bamboo pole and watch it explode. Thick, glossy, juicy leaves, mild and slightly mucilaginous when cooked, perfect for stews and stir-fries, crisp and refreshing raw. When other greens struggle or die, Malabar spinach thrives. Zones 7 to 11. Perennial in 9+. In cooler zones, it self-seeds, returning annually. Full sun, something to climb, consistent water when young, then step back. The red-stemmed variety rubra doubles as ornamental beauty. Heat-tolerant, drought-adaptable, nutritionally dense, essential for hot climate gardens. 3. Longevity spinach Guinura procumbens. The name says it all. Used in Southeast Asian traditional medicine for centuries, modern research backs its anti-inflammatory and blood sugar regulating compounds. But here's why it belongs in your garden. Productivity. Low-growing, sprawling, it roots wherever stems touch moist soil, spreading itself without effort. Full sun or partial shade, continuous harvest. Zones 9 to 11 perennial. Excellent container plant for cooler zones brought indoors. Harvest young leaves and stem tips. Succulent, mild, perfect for any cooked dish. Permaculture growers quietly treasure it while mainstream content ignores it. That ends now. 4. Okinawa spinach. Pay attention. This plant does something rare. It's breathtakingly beautiful. Two-toned leaves, deep green above, vivid purple beneath. It belongs in ornamental gardens, yet when cooked, that purple bleeds into dishes like natural food coloring. Guinura bicolor. Perennial zones 9 to 11. Easy container plant elsewhere. Fast-growing, heat and humidity tolerant, yet continuous production with regular harvest. Young leaves raw for earthy kick, sautéed with garlic and oil for an impressive side. The purple pigment is rich in anthocyanins, powerful antioxidants. For edible landscapes that must look as good as they produce, this is non-negotiable. 5. New Zealand spinach. For relentless heat and high humidity, this low-growing ground cover produces mild, succulent leaves when true spinach gives up. Not strictly perennial everywhere, but zones 8 to 11, it self-seeds. So reliably, it behaves like one. Plant once, back every year. Flavor mirrors true spinach. Mild, earthy, holding up beautifully sautéed in pasta or any spinach recipe. A genuine one-to-one substitute that loves conditions that kill spinach. Low effort, consistent, forgiving. Perfect for beginners. 6. Suriname purslane. Genuinely rare in Western gardens, and inexplicably so. This perennial succulent produces thick, crunchy, slightly tangy leaves, addictive fresh. Handles heat and drought like cactus, without complaint. Zones 9 to 12, fast from seed or cuttings, relentless production with harvest. Salads for texture, dishes for bright acidity, or straight off the plant as a snack. The tangy flavor balances rich, fatty foods naturally. Growing it puts you ahead of the curve. 7. Egyptian spinach. Malakia. If you've eaten Middle Eastern or North African cuisine, you've likely had Workhorse olatorius without knowing it. A cultural staple for millennia, it grows with explosive speed in summer heat. not perennial in most of North America, but zones 9 to 12, it regrows reliably. Elsewhere, it grows so fast from seed that single-season harvests are massive. Nutrient-dense, iron, calcium, vitamins C and K. Is cooked, it develops a thick, slightly gelatinous texture, the foundation of the iconic stew found from Cairo to Lagos. Plant full sun, water, harvest leaves, and tender tips. Regular harvesting makes it bushier for bold, authentic flavors and genuine heat tolerance. Malakia is essential. 8. Chaya, tree spinach. This plant deserves a moment. Chaya is among the most nutritionally significant here, extraordinarily rich in protein, iron, calcium, potassium, and vitamins. Some researchers compare its nutrient density favorably to celebrated superfoods. It grows in blazing heat, poor soil, minimal water, returning year after year. Critical. Raw leaves contain compounds requiring deactivation through cooking. 5 minutes boiling or sautéing breaks these down completely, leaving a mild, spinach-like green with remarkable nutrition. Soups, our stews, eggs, rice, stir-fries, it works everywhere. Zones 9 to 12 perennial shrub reaching 6 to 8 feet. A single mature plant produces enormous quantities continuously. Propagates easily from stem cuttings. Cut thick stems, dry a day or two, stick in moist soil. For serious food gardens in hot climates, chaya is among the most important plants you can grow. 9. Moringa, drumstick tree. Moringa has gained recognition, yet many gardeners still haven't planted it. Here's why you should. Explosive growth from seed or cutting, edible leaves, pods, seeds, and flowers, effortless heat and drought tolerance. Zones 9 to 12 perennial, zones 7 to 8. It dies back to regrow in spring, still delivering full-season productivity. Leaves rank among Earth's most nutritionally complete. High protein, amino acids, vitamins A, B, C, calcium, iron, potassium. Mild, earthy flavor perfect for smoothies, soups, sauces, rice. Young pods eaten like green beans in South Asian curries. Seeds pressed for oil, flowers edible too. In frost-free zones, plant and forget continuous harvest. It grows 10 to 15 feet yearly. Even frost killback won't stop abundant production. For self-sufficient gardening and productive edible landscapes, moringa isn't optional. 10. Ceylon spinach, another under-the-radar gem producing mild, tender leaves when most spinach has surrendered. Perennial in warm zones, thrives in full sun and high humidity. Reliable harvest through the hottest months. It bridges the critical gap when cool season crops have bolted and heat season crops haven't kicked in. Zones 9 to 11 perennial, seasonal producer in cooler zones. Never let summer leave you without fresh greens again. 11. A Turk's cap, Malvaviscus arboreus, criminally underused in edible landscapes. It blooms continuously in brutal heat. Gorgeous hibiscus-like red flowers that hummingbirds and pollinators adore. Those flowers? Edible, sweet, mild, beautiful in salads. Leaves? Also edible, mucilaginous, useful as thickeners. Zones 7 to 11 perennial shrub, handles heat, humidity, drought once established. Full sun to partial shade, deer-resistant, reliably returning. A mature Turk's cap in full bloom is spectacular, and it feeds you. 12. Edible hibiscus, roselle. You've likely had hibiscus tea. The callus, fleshy red structures around seed pods, make that tea incredibly productive when homegrown. But young leaves are also edible, pleasantly sour and citrusy in salads and cooked dishes. Annual in most of North America. Perennial zones 9 to 12, either growing from roots or self-seeding prolifically. Warmer zones produce large woody shrubs yielding season after season. Thrives in full sun and heat, drought-tolerant once established. Those red calluses appear as days shorten in late summer. Brilliant for tea, jam, syrup, juice, wine. That deep crimson makes every jar look artisanal. 13. Oca, Oxalis tuberosa. Small, brightly colored tubers from the Andes, yellow, orange, pink, red, as beautiful as any vegetable you'll harvest. Unique flavor, slightly tangy fresh, oxalic acid, mellowing sweet and potato-like when cooked. Roast, boil, slice raw or dry in sun to reduce acidity and increase sweetness. Traditional Andean technique centuries old. Still rare in North American gardens, zones 8 to 11 perennial, cooler zones, harvest tubers in fall, store winter, replant spring. Low growing, on pretty clover-like leaves, minimal care beyond moisture. For gardeners who love harvests that make people ask, oh, what is that? Osei is yours. 14. Yacon, Smolanthus sanctifolius. Sweet, juicy, crunchy tubers tasting like apple watermelon cross. That's not exaggeration, that's yacon. The sweetness comes from fructuligosaccharides. carbohydrates passing through digestion unabsorbed, making it significant for blood sugar and digestive health management. Zones 7 to 11 perennial. Large leafy plants to 6 to 7 feet, tubers forming underground through the season. Harvest fall after above-ground growth dies back. Eat fresh as fruit. Juice, dry into chips. Leaves and stems have traditional medicinal uses. Small daisy-like flowers attract pollinators. A mature plant yields multiple large tubers, one of the most rewarding underground harvests. 15. A Chinese artichoke, Stachys affinis. Gourmet territory. Among the most sought-after specialty vegetables in high-end French and Asian cuisine. Strange, beautiful harvest, small, white, spiral-shaped tubers like tiny conch shells. Nutty, sweet, crunchy, reminiscent of Jerusalem artichoke and water chestnut combined. Zones 5 to 9, one of the more cold-tolerant here, spreads through underground rhizomes, harvest in fall. Once established, returns yearly without replanting. Warmer zones need water management and afternoon shade. Challenge, finding planting stock from specialty suppliers. Worth it, restaurant-quality ingredient at home. 16. Apios americana, groundnut, a plant with deep North American history. Critical food source for indigenous peoples for millennia. Early European settlers survived brutal winters partly because of it. Then it faded from cultivation, nearly forgotten. Produces clusters of protein-rich tubers underground, above ground, beautiful twining vines with fragrant reddish-purple edible flowers. Tubers taste like richer, nuttier potatoes, boiled, roasted, fried, mashed. Higher protein than most starchy tubers, exceptionally valuable for nutritional self-sufficiency. Zones 3 to 9, among the most cold-hardy here, thriving in heat too. Trellis or fence to climb, keep watered, establish a couple seasons. Harvests increase dramatically as roots mature. Long-term investment with historical roots, bringing it back into cultivation, matters. 17. Sisu spinach, Alternanthera sisu. Perhaps the most resilient green here. Brazilian spinach, low-growing, spreading perennial rooting at every node, covering ground quickly, are producing continuously in heat and humidity that devastates most leafy greens. Still rare mainstream, but recognized in permaculture and tropical food forests as a workhorse. Thick, mild, nutritious leaves. Functions as living mulch under taller crops, keeping soil cool and moist while feeding you. Zones 9 to 12 perennial fastest spreading ground cover vegetable available. Once in, it stays in. Season after season, no effort required. 18. Water spinach, Ipomoea aquatica. If one plant exemplifies explosive growth, this is it. Grows several inches daily under optimal conditions, insanely fast in heat and moisture. Southeast Asian agriculture grows it in flooded paddies and waterways, producing continuous harvests of tender, mild, hollow-stemmed greens beloved across Vietnamese, Thai, Filipino, and Chinese cuisines. And stir-fried with garlic and oyster sauce or shrimp paste, satisfying quick meals from the garden. Hollow stems stay crunchy when cooked. Incredible texture contrast. Zones 9 to 11 perennial, warm season annual elsewhere. Containers of water, wet garden beds, rain-fed areas all work. Invasive in natural waterways in hotter climates, container or contained bed growing recommended. Within boundaries, let it produce faster than almost anything else. 19. Garlic chives, Allium tuberosum. You know regular chives. Garlic chives are their more interesting, more flavorful cousin. Strap-like leaves with gentle, unmistakable garlic flavor, adding depth to eggs, dumplings, noodles, soups, stir-fries, salads. Late summer brings beautiful white flower clusters, also edible, stunning garnish. Zones 3 to 9 handling heat remarkably well for an allium. You were growing continuously from the same clump for years. Divide every few years to maintain production and expand planting. Zero effort once established. Cut back hard, they regrow. Ignore them, they produce. Forget them, they return. 20. Walking onions, Allium cross proliferum. The name hints at something interesting. Walking onions produce small bulblets at stem tops, where flowers would be. When heavy enough, stems bend to ground, bulblets root. New plants grow. The plant literally walks across your garden, self-propagating without help, among the most self-sufficient vegetables. Once established, you have them forever with zero effort. Hardy zones 3 to 9, handling summer heat and winter cold, providing onion greens, top-set bulblets, and small base bulbs year-round. Greens as scallions, top sets as pickling onions, base bulbs as shallots. A no low-maintenance edible garden is complete without them. Plant once, harvest forever. Closing philosophy. The conventional model: buy seeds every spring, plant in rows, water constantly, fight pests, harvest a few months, start over. That model keeps you spending, working, dependent on seed catalogs and garden centers season after season. These 20 plants represent something different. Initial investment compounding over time, gardens getting more productive as years pass, food systems genuinely self-sufficient and self-renewing. Drought and heat become less threatening because your plants are adapted by nature. This is what permaculture gardeners, food forest designers, and edible landscaping experts have built for decades. You don't need acres or years of training, just the right plants, right placement, and patience to let perennials establish, strengthen, and thrive in ways annuals cannot. Start with 2 or 3 this season. Watch them return stronger next year, add 2 or 3 more. Within 5 years, you'll have a genuinely productive perennial food garden producing through summer heat, requiring fractionally less work than conventional gardens, feeding you continuously without annual replanting cycles. That's not a dream. That's a plan. You now have the plant list to make it real. If this gave you something useful, introduced you to one new plant, or convinced you to try one you'd wondered about, hit like. It helps reach more gardeners who need this information. Subscribe for content on edible plants, food forests, heat-tolerant crops, and sustainable growing you won't find packaged this way elsewhere. Go plant something extraordinary. Your future self and future harvest will thank you.